Hi guys, and welcome to the Unquendor Guitars workshop. My name is Daniel and this is another part in the video series where I'm building my Phoenix guitar, a Gibson Firebird inspired guitar build. And in the previous episode we've been working on the body, and in this episode I'm going to route all the cavities. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Yeah guys, in the previous episode we made the guitar body up until this stage, and now it's time to do all the routing. But it's going to get a bit complicated because there's a lot of relationships between the different routes and they have to go into a specific order. For example, I want to create the raised portion of a Firebird that's very iconic, that raised center bit. That's also something I want to create, so I have to plane down or route down these two side parts of the body and leave the center part raised. And then I'm going to need a tilted or a angled neck, because I'm going to use a Floyd or a Tunematic style bridge. So the neck has to be at an angle. So I need to route my neck pocket at an angle, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. And only after the neck pocket is in I can determine where the pickup should go and route those cavities. And also I shouldn't forget to route the pocket for the three-way switch that's going to go right here in this corner. So yeah, a lot of complications and a lot of relationships between the different routes, but I think no matter what, I first need to route down these two side wings of the body to create the raised center. So yeah, I'm going to set up a jig to help me route these parts down a 2 or 3 millimeters. So, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a template of sorts to the guitar body, and I just use a piece of multiply with a straight edge and use some masking tape. And of course some super glue to stick it to the guitar body. And yeah, like I said in previous episodes, I intend to make specialized bespoke templates for this guitar if it turns out to be a success and people actually want to buy this guitar model. So let me know if you would be interested in buying a Phoenix. And if so, I'm going to make specialized templates that makes my life a whole lot easier. So some super glue. And again, put glue on the masking tape that's on your nice workpiece and not on your template. So let this cure for a couple of moments, and in the meantime I'm going to set up a jig on my router table. So see you guys there. So guys, I'm all set up. I've installed two rails to my router table on which my router sled can ride, so hopefully no dims. I have a pattern cutting bit, so that's a very shallow cutting bearing guided router bit. Set in my hand plane, in my hand router. I can put my dust extraction on a hook right there so the hose doesn't catch on anything. Some ear protection, and here we go, fingers crossed for the first half of the body. So guys, it's a bit rough, but I hope a plain sandpaper and a cabinet scraper can clean this up. So let's do the other side. So guys, we're all set up to do the other side. Here we go. Oh, much better, much cleaner. Let's take it to the bench and start cleaning up these two surfaces. So the routing on these two sides is done and I'm pretty happy with how it went. It could have gone a bit cleaner, but not too bad. And now I have this nice little raised section, just 3 millimeters, but it breaks the guitar a bit and I think it looks well, and of course after sanding everything will be a bit lower anyway. So time to clean up those sides. So first I'm going to clamp the guitar to the bench. And this is so lovely about a narrower bench that you can clamp guitar bodies on like so. And cabinet scrapers, and oh, here's my little plane, and start planing and cleaning up these two edges or sides. Again, as always, I'm using a razor sharp plane with just a very light cut. Don't rush it, I don't want to create tear out. So take off very, very light passes. I wish I had a plane that could get all the way into this edge, but to do those I'm using a scraper. Go. So both sides are now nice and clean. I still need to do some sanding, but for now I think I'm fine. But what I will do straight away is break this little edge. So remove those two clamps and a small little sanding block. The other one, I think, yeah, this one. So very gently round over that edge, and the same goes for this point right here. Make sure it's rounded off so it won't chip when you accidentally hit it with a tool or something. So break all the edges. Always those sharp edges are very, very prone to chipping. So if you can, if you don't need that edge as a reference edge or take measurements from, break it. So, nice. So guys, I can't remember exactly where I left off in the previous clip, but yeah, here is the body or the top all cleaned up, and it turned out very, very nice. And now it's time to create the neck pocket, but I'm not sure on how I'm going to do that yet, because for the first time I have to create a neck pocket that's at a slight angle, about a 2-degree angle, to get the strings to the correct string height for the bridge I'm going to use. One thing I do know is that I'm going to need a jig or a template to route the neck pocket at the correct angle, and that's something I usually don't use. I don't like using templates for my neck pocket. I always like to make a template for a specific neck by using just several loose pieces of multiply that I glue up against the neck, just like I did right here on this piece of MDF. But now I can take off the neck it's nice and tight, and cut this section of MDF like it was a neck pocket. So first I'm going to use my bandsaw to remove most of the material, and then my router to clean everything up and trim the template flush with the temporary template. And this should leave me with a template that fits this neck exactly, and then I have to figure out how to get it to the correct angle. But first let's take this to the bandsaw and the router table and finish this template. So guys, here's the template. Let's see how she fits. Yeah, a nice snug fit, and now for the first time we can see underneath the neck pocket. Yeah, seamless fit. So that should be fine. And of course, when routing the actual neck pocket, I'm always lining the inside of my template with a layer of thin masking tape, just to give me that extra bit of tightness, so to say. So yeah, let me remove all those blocks real careful. treat the template with some melamine lacquer, and I'll be back when it's time to actually route the neck pocket. I think I came up with the perfect solution to route the neck pocket at the correct angle using this template without modifying this template. I just checked and all my neck templates fit in this pocket template. So if I don't mess up this template, I can use it over and over again on all of my guitars. So I don't want to do anything to this template. So what I did was I made two wedges or two shims, as it were. I just put a piece of multiply at an angle and run it through the drum sander a couple of times. And now I can put these on the side of this guitar body using, of course, masking tape and super glue. And then I can take my template, stick it in place, and it will be at the correct angle. And I can reuse both the template on all my guitars. And if I ever want to do a guitar with a Tune-o-matic bridge, I can do so by using these shims. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is stick down those wedges to the guitar body. And because these were cut and sanded at the same time with the backside flush with each other, I can just take something straight and align the backs, and this gives me a consistent angle. I don't want to place them off, because then the template will be at an incorrect angle, so to say. So a little bit of glue. Don't need much at all. Take something straight. And align these two sides. This one is already stuck in place, and what I did, I made sure that the outermost part of this wedge is slightly above the guitar body. So that means that I can just place my template on these wedges like so without it hitting the body anywhere. So I get the correct angle and it's secured in place. Yeah guys, and what I really love about this setup is that I can still use my original method of aligning the neck with the center line of the guitar. Off camera I made a little mark where the neck should end based on the template and also based on the carve of the heel. And with this in place I can take a big old clamp and have to make sure I clamp it correctly, and there's a template underneath the guitar body just to protect it from the clamp. An offcut from making the top template. Don't use a good template as a clamping call, of course. Now let's see if I can align the clamp. Yep. Yeah, getting everything aligned can be a bit tricky because I want my clamp to be exactly centered above the neck, and I want the center line of the neck to touch, of course, the center line of the body, and if needed use a little hammer to tap it into position, which it should be right now. Next thing, I'm going to draw a line perpendicular to the center line somewhere on the body, as far back as possible, but I want enough of my protractor on the guitar body to be accurate. Yeah, I think this should be it. Yeah. So a nice line perpendicular to the center line. And I'm going to use not a laser liner or something modern like that. I'm going to use 2 aluminium pieces, of which I know are dead straight. And what I like to do with those is clamp them to the neck, and with that little point touching the line I just drew on the guitar body, like so, and use a little clamp to hold them in place so they are nice and, is it called flush, or at least they're touching, they're snug up against the heel of the neck. And this should give me an extension of the taper of the neck. Of course, make sure they're both touching the line, like so. And again, with my protractor, I'm going to measure the distance from each of these points to the center line. And then this protractor comes in very handy, because the measurements go from the center out. So as soon as these 2 points are equal distance from the center line, I know my neck is perfectly aligned. And I can place my bridge dead center on the guitar body. I'm only 1/2 mil off. So I'm going to gently tap the neck right there, shifting everything over. And because the clamp is dead center on the edge of the heel of the neck, this acts as my pivot point, so my center line of the neck keeps touching the center line of the guitar body. That stays in line as long as I don't make too big adjustments. Again, measure everything. It needs to shift 1/2 millimeter, like so. So I'm going to loosen this clamp just a little. And I'm there. So now with the neck perfectly aligned with the entire guitar body, it's time to put on the template. And of course I'm going to use masking tape and super glue to do this. I'm not sure how exactly. And this might be the first time that I'm considering using double-sided tape, but I have some bad experiences with using double-sided tape on a neck pocket. My template started sliding on me halfway through routing. So I'm never going to use double-sided tape on a neck pocket again, just in case. But yeah, let's see. Let's put some tape down on these wedges first. And then see if we can mark those positions on the template. So here we are. Because the template should be a very snug fit. Oh, very. All right. Let's make some marks where the masking tape is. Right here. And right here. And I can't see the back. Oh, I can make a mark right there. Okay. Now let's see if I can remove the template. Which I can. And let's see, this is this one. With a mark right here. So guys, and just to be safe, I put masking tape over the entire back of the template. Better safe than sorry for a couple of cents of masking tape. And of course, I'm going to put super glue. It doesn't really matter actually, because they're both not part of the guitar. But it would be nice if I could remove the template from those two wedges. Now try and get the template in place again. And I'm very careful not to mess with the alignment of the neck, of course, and I'm going to try and double check it. Oh, this masking tape is here for no reason, or at least the super glue isn't. Remove it. Make sure it's snug against the heel of the neck. And let's see. I'm almost down. So I'm going to very quick verify the alignment right here. And I think I should be fine. Yeah, 33. Perfect. So I can now slap down, hopefully, the template. And I can already see the center line of the template is in alignment with the center line of the neck. And with the center line of the body, so if I'm off, I'm not that far off. And now let this cure for a couple of moments. So the CA glue should have set by now, so I can remove the clamp very carefully. And the neck from the template. So now with the template on, I can determine the depth of the neck pocket, and this is something I get asked very frequently, how I determine the depth of my neck pocket or what measurements to use. And for me it's quite easy actually, because I like there to be as much of the heel of the neck inside the guitar body as possible. So what I usually do is I measure the thickness of the body once the body is in this state, so to say, and then subtract 1 centimeter, so 10 millimeters approximately. So this body is approximately 42 millimeters thick at the thickest point. So to make it myself easy, I'm going to go with a neck pocket of approximately 30 millimeters deep. And now that I know the depth of the neck pocket, I can mark it on the side of the guitar body. And as you can see, that line is already there because I had to do several takes because I kept messing up. Next step is taking the guitar body to the pillow drill and use a Forstner bit to remove as much of the material as I can. And now with the body securely clamped to the bench, I can take my handheld router and a long flush trim bit and start routing the neck pocket. Put in some earring protection. And fingers crossed. Here we go. Power. Here we go. And here's the neck pocket. So yeah guys, I had to change camera angles, but I really wanted to show you as soon as possible how the neck fits. And I haven't tried it either, so it's a first for me as well. So here's the neck. Fingers crossed. Oh, nice fit. And now I can later on adjust the heel accordingly. I can cut it to the correct height and then use my plane and maybe sandpaper and such to get it to the final height and the final angle. There's slight adjustments I can still do on the heel of the neck that I couldn't do with this neck pocket while it's at an angle. And for a straight neck pocket, so an F-style neck pocket, I will always recommend getting your heel close and then adjust the height just with your router. Just route the neck pocket slightly deeper if needed. But for this slanted neck pocket, I think for now and the way I've done this, it's easier to adjust the heel if needed instead of messing with the angle and such. And yeah, I think in this case this is better and I'm really happy with the fit. Let's see how it fits without the template as well. So remove the template. Come on. First of course remove the neck. And I really love how tight my template is. And these shims also worked very well. Don't damage them, so I can reuse them. And I think what I might end up doing is putting a coat of melamine lacquer on these as well to preserve them and to make it easier to stick on and remove the masking tape. I have to make sure to off camera mark them that these are a 2-degree angle. And let me know in the comment section down below, guys, if you want me to do a video maybe specialized on making wedges and such. Because if I have to explain everything in a single video series, and I know you guys like these longer format videos, but it takes also a while for me to edit them, and if I have to include everything, I would have 100 episodes of each 2 hours long. So there are certain things I have to skip, unfortunately. And hopefully I'm skipping the correct parts. I just noticed. Yeah, right there. We can see the channel I routed in the previous episode. Let's see. This is difficult on camera, but here is the channel for the pickup wires and the channel for the 3-way switch right here. And they seem to be in the correct spot. Hopefully. Yeah, they are. Alright, now let's see this fit. Yeah, it fits beautifully. I think I can even, yeah. Oh, with ease, it can hold some weight, so very good neck joint. And now I can also determine how much to cut from the heel of the neck. I can just measure this difference, and this should be what I need to remove from the bottom of the neck. But of course I'm going to measure the exact amount I need to remove once the frets are in this neck and once the neck is completely done, so I can take the measurements with the frets, which is important in my opinion. So yeah, I think fretting this neck might be a next episode. I think if we can do all the routing in this episode, then in the next episode I can finish the fretwork on the neck and maybe glue these two parts together. Who knows? So the next step for me would usually be to draw in the scale length and determine where the bridge is going to sit, so I can determine where the cavities for the pickup should go and route those cavities. But with the neck still being this high and not completely finished, I think when I go ahead and draw in the scale length right now, it might not be as accurate as I wanted it to be. So I think it's better to wait until the neck is finished and the heel is cut down to the correct height and everything is seated properly, so I can determine the position of the bridge more accurate and then derive the pickup position from there. But the things I can do to finish off this episode is of course drill the cavity and the hole for the three-way switch, do a belly carve, and maybe also drill the holes for the controls. So yeah, here we go. So to protect the top of the guitar from unintentional denting or scratching on maybe a piece of glue or something that's still on my bench, which I highly doubt because I scrape my bench every 2 days, but you never know, so better be safe and put down a towel and protect the freshly sanded top. And let's continue by drilling the hole and the cavity for the three-way switch, and to do so I can take out my template, because on the template the position of the three-way switch hole is indicated, and there's a tiny little hole in the template, so I can align the template with the body like so, and take my tiny little hand drill with a 2mm drill bit and transfer that hole to the back of the body. And next I'm going to take this massive 50mm Forstner bit and again drill a cavity only 2 to 3 millimeters deep, the same as for the control cavity. So the first thing I'm going to drill is the little ledge the cover plate is going to sit on, and then I'm going to switch to a 40mm Forstner bit and drill the rest of the cavity to depth, and then eventually drill a tiny hole, a 12mm hole for the actual switch. So, but first I'm going to start with this big massive 50mm Forstner bit in my pillar drill and drill the little recess for the cavity cover. So here we go, everything is set up, ready to go, and here we go. So there's our 3mm deep recess. And now I'm going to switch over to a 40mm bit. And drill the cavity for the switch. And a 40mm bit is usually plenty to house a regular three-way switch. So guys, I have my 40mm Forstner bit installed. And hopefully this shows up on camera, but you can see I'm relying on the digital readout on this pillar drill. And I've set it to 0, and I know I need to go approximately 32mm down. So I have to keep an eye out on this gauge and keep checking my hole. So here we go. And maybe I should have put on some dust extraction, but hey. Almost there. See, I can still see the mahogany there, so very carefully I'm going to drill 0.5 millimeter by 0.5 millimeter and keep checking whether I'm already there or not. Really? Yeah, I think I'm good for now. So after having drilled the 50 millimeter recess for the cover plate and the 40 millimeter hole for the switch itself, I now want to drill the 12 millimeter hole for the switch itself. But to prevent tear out, I want to drill it from the top to into the cavity and not the other way around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 2 millimeter hand drill bit and very carefully drill the last couple of millimeters, and it's just 1 or 2 millimeters through the body, like so. And now here's a tiny little hole I can use as a reference for my 12 millimeter drill bit. I think I could have easily done this freehand with my cordless drill, but why take the risk if my pillar drill is right here? Woo! So nice and clean, and by doing it from the top with a very sharp drill bit, there's no chance of tear out, or a minimum at least. So guys, and with the hole for the three-way switch done, let's do the other 4 holes for the controls as well. And guys, make sure you double check the size of the thread of your pots is before you drill holes. Usually the pots come in 2 different thread sizes or hole sizes you need to drill. 8 millimeter hole or a 9.6, 9.7 millimeter hole. So basically a 10 millimeter hole usually. And to help me with the layout, I'm going to go back to my template with the 4 positions already being marked with a tiny little hole. So I can put this on my body, align the center line, at least on one side, and again use the hand drill with the 2 millimeter drill bit. And very carefully mark those 4 holes. So yeah, the marks are all there, and now I can go to the pillar drill and drill, in my case, 4 10 millimeter holes. So 4 little holes drilled real quick. So and now with all the holes drilled for the controls, I think the last thing I can do in this episode is do a body carve. So let's take out a pencil and sketch in a shape. So let's get a bit creative. Let's draw this curve. Let's make a tangent line down a bit. And same goes for this line. Maintain tangency. Maybe something like this. Take a white pencil and try to draw in a more fluid line. Same goes for right here. Down a bit. And meet up right here. I think I want to extend it a bit more. So exaggerate this curve. Yeah, I think this is way better. And of course I can always adjust when I'm carving. I think this might be a nice belly carve on the back and on the side, and hopefully the camera can keep up with focus. I think I want the deepest part to be right here. And then, this is always a bit hard to sketch in, from here down to here and up to here. So the camera had a bit difficulties focusing. It kept focusing on this edge, but I think this is the curve I'm going to make. Not as deep, I think. But the main thing is I try to avoid creating a flat spot right here. So the deepest point should be aligned with the deepest point right here. So let's start carving. So with the belly carve marked and the body attached to the bench, and of course there's an MDF offcut underneath the body to prevent damage, it's time to start carving using Iwasaki carving files mostly, I think. And now the nice thing of my bench is that I can lower it, so it's much easier for me to work with. And I can see all my batteries are running low. So I start carving, and eventually I'll be back with you guys once I'm almost done. And you can see the clamp is in the way, unfortunately. Yeah guys, I'm down to only my shotgun mic, but yeah, I really want to share this part with you. After having removed a lot of material with my Iwasaki carving files, I'm now using a cabinet scraper to clean up the shape and get a nice and smooth surface. And for this shape I'm using a curved cabinet scraper. So this gives me a nice and hollow feel to the belly carve. It is a bit more challenging than a straight scraper, but yeah, if you take your time, you can get a very nice result using a curved scraper like this. So, just removing the last of the pencil lines, and now the belly carve is done, and I think I've made a very nice curve on the back of this guitar and a very comfortable depth of the belly carve, and I think every guitar should have a belly carve. It just adds something to the entire shape. So yeah, I'm very happy with the progress in this episode, but unfortunately this is all I have time for today. And to be honest with you guys, we first need to finish the neck before we can continue the work on the body. I really need to get those threads in, get the heel to the correct thickness and fitting perfectly in this body before I can measure the scale length and figure out where the bridge and the pickups need to go in the body. And that said, I also need to do, of course, a headstock veneer with a headstock inlay, but I might do that in a live stream. You guys really seem to like me doing an inlay in real time, and to be honest, work like an inlay is easier for me to do in a live stream than it is to shoot videos off, and I think people like to see the entire process. It's hard to capture in a 1 hour, 1.5 hour video. So yeah, I might do that in a live show, but I'll make sure to do the threads in a separate episode, as well as getting the heel to the correct thickness and fine-tuning it to fit the neck pocket. But that said, this is all for this episode. I really hope you liked it, and if you did, let me know by leaving a like, leaving a comment, suggestion or question in the comment section down below, and this helps other people to find my content and let YouTube suggest my content to other people, and in the long term this will help me to grow this channel and make these guitar building videos possible. If you like to support me more directly, you can do so by getting yourself a nice t-shirt, hoodie or coffee cup from the Unquendor Goodie store underneath this video, or via the link that's in the video description to my merchandise store. And guys, be aware, the Phoenix t-shirts and hoodie will only sell while I'm building this guitar. As soon as this guitar is done, I will take them from the store. So yeah, get them while you can and support this guitar build. That said, I hope to see you all in the next video, but until then, take care, bye bye.